Alex here. On Tuesday, Apple held its spring event in which they announced a mix of updates coming to already existing devices, as well as going full Mac mode with their new Mac Studio and Studio display. So let's recap. The iPhone 13 Pro now comes in Alpine Green, while the iPhone 13 comes in green. Not Alpine Green, just green. Basically, just means a slightly darker green. If you're into them,
you can pre-order this Friday and they will be available on March 18.
There's also a new iPhone SE this year. It basically looks exactly the same as its predecessor, but Apple is taking some aspects from the iPhone 13 and bringing them into the SE, like the A15 Bionic chip, 5G, it has the same type of glass in the front and back, better battery life, a 12-megapixel camera with the Fusion, Smart HDR, and improved video quality. It has a 14.7-inch Retina display, and it still retained its Touch ID. So if you're looking for the smallest device with upgrades, this one could be the one for you. It starts at $429. That is a $30 price bump for those keeping score, with pre-orders happening this Friday, March 11th, and shipping on March 18th. Just like the new iPhone SE, the new iPad Air looks like the old iPad Air from a year and a half ago, coming in 5 colors, but it has the same M1 chip as the iPad Pro. Apple pretty much has been handing out M1 chips. Everyone is getting M1 chips. It also supports 5G, and it has a USB-C port that Apple claims is up to twice as fast. The 7-megapixel camera from the previous generation also got a bump this year at 12 megapixels, and it supports center stage, which is a feature to keep you on frame while on calls. For video editors, we sadly didn't get a final cut for the iPad, but there's a new release of iMovie available with new features coming next month, so make sure to subscribe because I'll be making a video about it. The new iPad Air is compatible with the Apple Pencil, Magic Keyboard, and Smart Folio covers, and as for the price, it's starting at $599. Alright, and then we get down to the Apple basement to talk to Johnny, Apple's Senior VP of Hardware, and he tells us this.
You see, M1 Max has a secret, a hidden feature we haven't talked about until now.
And first of all, I screamed because, man, what a way to keep suspense. That was hilarious and so wholesome at the same time. M1 Max having little secrets, and just when everyone thought we'd get an M2 chip, Johnny tells us that it's an M1 Ultra. Like, what? So the whole situation with this new chip, which is really 2 M1 Max chips fused together into a big chip, it essentially makes it 8 times faster than an M1, which is a big deal because you could put 2 chips into one board, for example, but the issue is they're going to be treated as 2 chips, so the software would have to be written to address the 2. But that's not what's happening here. What the M1 Ultra does is behave as 1 chip as far as software knows. So app developers won't have to do any additional work to support this, as long as they were already optimizing for the M1, that is. Now, measuring 7.7 inches wide and 3.7 inches high, the start of the show that will house this new chip is the Mac Studio. It looks like 2 Mac Minis stacked on top of each other. With the M1 Ultra, this new Mac Studio can do all sorts of high-performance stuff, like Colleen, who was iconic, by the way, tells us.
Mac Studio can play an unprecedented 18 streams of 8K ProRes 422 video. There is no other computer in the world that can do this.
And the port situation is pretty sick as well. Look at all of these ports in the back. For the front, you get an SD card slot with slight differences on the ports depending on which Mac Studio option you choose. There's 2. The M1 Ultra option, which has 2 USB-Cs on the front, which are Thunderbolt 4, and if you get the M1 Max option, you get 2 normal USB-C ports. These 2 options come at different price tags, of course. So for the M1 Ultra with a 64 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte solid state drive, will start at $3,999, and the M1 Studio with the M1 Max chip will start at $1,999. Also good to note, within the overall Mac lineup, the Mac Pro and Mac Mini will continue to be sold, while the 27-inch iMac appears to have been discontinued. RIP. The Mac Studio is compatible with Apple's new Studio display, which definitely gives me Pro Display XDR vibes, minus the big holes in the back and the absurd $999 stand that Apple got criticism for in 2019. This time around, Thank God, Apple includes a basic stand that tilts with the option to upgrade to a tilt plus height adjustable stand or an option for a Visa mount as well. But those come at an extra cost and you have to make sure to choose wisely from the get-go because these are not interchangeable later on. Let's talk about the actual display, which is available to order now. It can hit 600 nits of brightness and features a 5K 27-inch Retina display. If you happen to be stuck on Zoom calls all day, this thing also has an A13 Bionic chip with a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera that supports center stage, along with 3 mics. And if you want to vibe to your favorite song while working, the Studio Display also has a 6-speaker sound system that supports spatial audio. The Studio Display with standard glass starts at $15.99, and the nano texture glass, which is a more anti-reflective glass, starts at $18.99. Lastly, to add to your desktop setup, there's also going to be a new matte black option for the Magic Keyboard, a trackpad, and mouse. And that's it. That's pretty much a quick rundown of everything that happened at the Apple event. I'd love to know what you think. Did you have any predictions coming in? Is there anything that maybe you're excited about? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe for more Apple reviews and overall tech reviews coming soon. Until next time, pal. Bye.